Yo, what's happening, world? My name's Raheem Flowers, and apparently and officially, I got my first strike on YouTube. A video got flagged down. It was known as the White Supremacy Paradox. It was a video I made back in February of this year during so-called Black History Month, and that's approximately 9 months ago. So that was about 3/4 of a year ago I made that video, and then now YouTube decided to flag down my channel. That's bullshit. Nudity for a 20-second clip is not the reason why they flagged my shit down. There was some fuckboy out there or some fuck girl out there who felt some type of way for what I was saying about the puppeteers, and we already know that the puppeteers 9 times out of 10 are a bunch of Jews. Fuck it, I'm just gonna call it what it is, because after all, my middle name is named after Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and that man went in on everybody who was a part of that power structure. So I'm gonna follow the same or similar train of thought, and every time I think about that, when I read that, I'm like, oh, and another thing, before I get into what I'm going to say, I have the thumbnail that I have for a reason, because y'all wanted to false flag me, and the false flag is it's an Israeli show based on investigations and all that stuff. And what they're doing right now on YouTube, they want to play, and they want to hypocritically play a bunch of Nazis. The same people that Jewish people like to vent about during what was called the Holocaust, which Jews also played a role in, by the way. Yup. You fuck boys or you fuck girl, whoever flagged down my shit, fuck you. That's a big fuck you to you. And I hope I find you. I'm gonna go in on your ass. For real, regardless of your gender, regardless of your so-called race or your religion/creed, I don't give a fuck. Because I don't even have 500 subscribers. Yeah, I'm going on a tirade, I'm going on a rant. That was some bullshit to the T. 20-second clip. When I had that for 9 months and I had the age restriction on there. Yup. So something ain't adding up. You know it ain't because of what no 20-second clip I got from a website called the Ghetto Gaggers. Y'all better delete every video with Jill Scott displaying oral sex. Or how about girls giving head to cucumbers? And it's all posted on YouTube. I'm not making this up, and I'm going to send a description and links on it all. So that you know I'm not just BSing and I'm not exaggerating. There's a conspiracy with people going on. Those who speak their mind, those who lay out the truth, and they do it consistently. Look at me. I don't even have 500 subscribers. In the public eye, I would be nothing more than a low-level YouTuber. But, you know, that doesn't matter, because when you even remotely develop a name and you start to gain more subscribers, which I found intriguing. It's like all these emails I'm getting, the founder of YouTube, who is a Russian, white, Jewish woman, congratulating me on me accumulating all my subscriptions, and then boom, you hit me with me getting flagged. Because you know what I said in my video? And it's just like the recent video that I just put up with speaking about El, or Saturn, and I also spoke about them Jews as well. And within that, I was saying how in White Supremacy Paradox, just like with Sun Ra, the jazz legend, was saying, white supremacy is a myth, it's a hoax. White people have this illusion of power, and they're not the ones who are on top of the apex. I've been saying that shit since I made videos in 2016, and I'm even more adamant about it now in 2018, going on 19 and beyond. And I was going in. I was going in on that white Jew, Vlad, who's also has interviewed porn stars, and they are very descriptive about their sex life. Whether it's Lex Steels, whether it's Sarah J, whether it's Pinky, and the whole 9 yards. So you mean to tell me people, you have these women, you have all the, and let's not forget Superhead too. That white Jew could have all these video vixen girls, porn stars, being so descriptive about their sex life. You have these girls sucking cucumber like his dick. You have Jill Scott. Jill Scott is going all over the internet, completely viral, just giving fellatio to the microphone because it has, it like from an ideographic contextual place, it resembles a dick. But me, I have a 20-second clip of something I found on X videos because I was relaying a point with a blaxploitative movie that was in the 70s, which, you know, Jews, white Jews, Caucasian Jews also have been directing during that era. So it ain't about no damn nudity. I was relaying a point. And by the way, I still got that shit in the vault. May not be on YouTube, but I always make sure that I keep my important videos in my database. JewTube. Y'all do this to so many content creators out there. Whether I fuck with them or not, you have done this to so many people who relay the truth, who point it out. But you know not to do that to people who talk about white supremacy. I remember when Suburban Whiny Pete was bitching and complaining about Jared Taylor. Oh, these white supremacists want to come on my page, like, and Jared Taylor's minions, like, nigga, shut the fuck up, man. White supremacy ain't nothing more than a hoax. Suburban Whiny Pete and Tariq, Umar, all these motherfuckers are hustling. They just doing a hustle. Suburban Whiny Pete just likes to hear himself talk, because he's been doing this shit since 2007, and the whole Generation X thing when him, Quest and Soul were at it with each other, and his boy Captain Solo. And shout out to Quest and Soul, man. Appreciate you watching my content, brother. Don't even understand rulership. You think that the so-called black men or the Moors or the melanated men who were in rulership, you think that they were so benevolent? Guess what? Mansa Musa had slaves too, and he's the richest. He's known to be the most richest man in recorded history. Guess what? You think when the Moors came into Spain, they got the royal treatment? Fuck no. Yes, they ultimately made Europe better and got them out of the dark ages, but it's not like they were just treated like pure royalty. No, there was slavery going on. There were sex slaves, and the Moors had Turks. They had Turkish. They had these other European white women as sex slaves, and then these Caucasians. What did these white people do? They learned. They learned from them throughout ancient Europe. They learned from them throughout Mali, just like they learned from the Pilgrims. This is them following their own self-preservation. This has nothing to do with some inherent supremacy. It's called nepotism and genetic survival. Calling it white supremacy is just a dim-witted, two-dimensional standpoint so niggas could just sound like they're being so intricate about the shit that they say. Nigga, you have so many people out there. You got Professor Truth, Tariq can stay with his channel. You got Umar the Sim Johnson doing his fucking videos. You got Hypocrisy talking about colorism all day, but I bet you that bitch wouldn't have a problem dating a white man or dating one of these so-called mulatto dudes. These bullshit ass so-called black sectors of the YouTube. I'm going in on every last one of y'all motherfuckers, man. I don't care who it is. Y'all just brought out the 2016 in me tenfold, cause that shit blew me. I don't care if it's the so-called manosphere with Minister Jap or an angry man and these MGTOW niggas who want to have this boys only club, and really y'all just a bunch of dudes who are sexually frustrated. Because any man with a sound mind knows that once you change the conditions in your life, everything else around you is going to just change instantaneously. And I say this for myself too, because I hate where I'm at in life. And I'm not afraid to admit that. But the difference between me and the rest of you niggas, I doubt y'all have even done anything. Because guess what? I've been doing things for the last 2 years. And I've been putting things in the works and been under the shadows. The same thing that the people who understand the rulership works. That's what they did. They did things behind the shadow. I bet you nobody expected white people to rule. Because when white people still emerged from the earth and they were a part of the Celtics and the Druids, they just looked like a bunch of crazy pagan motherfuckers who just prayed to inanimate objects or gods who be considered mythological. Nobody ever thought, oh man, the white people who came into Scotland, like the post-Moors, you didn't think that they were gonna start running shit? Hell no. You didn't think that, nobody thought that the Jews were gonna come up when they were constantly getting expelled throughout Europe, and then they found the so-called home in Israel and a supposed so-called deed. Fuck out of here, the Ashkenazis. Let's be real now. The way they word things ain't on accident. Shit. Y'all, these niggas want to get so caught up in white supremacy, but let me get this straight. You can openly talk about white supremacy on TV. Openly. Nothing happens. You have rappers on records talking about white supremacy. We could talk about Joey Badass on his album All American Badass and the last song on there. He said fuck white supremacy. Do you think you could say fuck these Jews on records? Oh, try it. Because Jadakiss did. Ice Cube did. How well did that pan out? Public Enemy did. Look at Professor Griff and his situation when he was going in on MC Search and Leo Combs. How did that shit pan out for them? How did it pan out for them? Huh, Mr. Pan-Africanist? Like Umar Sim Johnson? How did it pan out for them? Huh, Tariq? Oh wait, my bad. You got your Jew wife. You got your Jew mother-in-law. And I'm gonna put descriptions of everything that I'm saying. So I'm not just talking to sound like I'm talking out of my ass when I say this. I'm giving y'all empirical evidence of every last one of these things. You see, family, you gotta understand that the system of white supremacy, they're here to sabotage black folks. First of all, there ain't no such thing as that. Black, if you try to trace history back, I bet you the word black, you're not gonna go any further than around slavery, at best, post-chattel slavery. Because nobody was calling them that. That was when these Caucasian Jews and these other Caucasians decided to conceptualize off this so-called race and have everybody fooled, have other low-level thing that white people fooled, having so-called Negroes fooled, having everybody fooled, and having this false sense of superiority or inferiority. But Negroes don't get that shit though. Motherfuckers wanna, oh man, we need to eliminate white supremacy. You got dumbass bitches out like Jamila Downhill talking shit on ESPN saying that heterosexual black males are the white people of black people, saying stupid shit like that. And this is supposed to be a conscious chick. This is supposed to be a sister who's like above average intellectually, but shares that on a sport network like ESPN. Bitch, please sit your ass down. You got a dumb weave wearing bitch, like tranny looking bitch, like Synthetic G, talking about you cones and beta males. All you do, you're perpetuating this white supremacy, the patriarchy that was built and the foundation built upon the white supremacy. This is why I don't deal with the coons and the beta males, because that's what most of you black men really are. At the end of the day, shut your ass up. Your ass is married to a white man. And Sarge, let me go back to Suburban Whiny Pete for a split second. This nigga always wants to talk about establishing a patriarchy, how black men don't do that, how black men ultimately ain't shit. But you agree on 98% of what this bitch has to say. And I'm supposed to take you seriously about establishing a patriarchy. It's no wonder why Quest used to go in on your ass, boy. Oh, Wizard Kelly ass nigga, you and Jason the so-called Black Authority. We don't even know if this dude's even black. Jason the so-called Black Authority. Suburban Whiny Pete. These Wizard Kelly ass niggas. And I call him Wizard Kelly because anybody who's watched Proud Family remembers Wizard Kelly was a black man and nobody ever saw his face. So that's where that joke derives from. Anywho, I ain't doing all that, man. Like, all this flagging, all this bullshit hypocrisy. Look, man, I don't even make that many views on YouTube in comparison to all the people I just named and listed. You already know the people I respect. I don't need to say those brothers' names, because they know who they are, and I've said it several times in my videos. This is me just going in, man. I'm venting, I'm ranting, so I'm going to go in on every last one of you so-called motherfuckers in the black sector of YouTube. Because y'all full of shit. You don't put your money where your mouth is. All you do is talk about this hoax, this myth known as white supremacy. And white people, they love it when you do that. Why do you think Jared Taylor, he was so fucking entertained by this tycoon, Tariq? He was so entertained trying to convince him about white supremacy. They know that white supremacy is bullshit. They know what the rulership is, but it empowers them. It empowers them, especially when you can't even prove your point and make your stance. Remember when Kanye said something about Jewish people in 2013 on The Breakfast Club? How'd that pan out for him? And like I stated earlier, it didn't pan out for Professor Griff. It didn't pan out for Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And evidently it didn't pan out for me because it got so bad that I can't even monetize off of YouTube anymore. Ever since I went in on Vlad, and when I made that video about Vlad, Tommy, and Tariq, and how that interview was a sabotage. I mean, I'm not out here talking about, oh man, see, black man, this is why I don't deal with these black women. These black women ain't shit. They ain't shit. They really not. And I was so much happier when I was dating the Russian girl Lana. But anytime you have black folks in your life, you just know that you in for disaster. Like, nah, we ain't doing none of that. I mean, I have my fair share of my critiques on the so-called black community, but I'm not about to just sit here and give any outside forces. I'm not gonna validate whatever preconceived notions that they have of, or may have, of the so-called Negro. I'm not doing that, because that's what that man does. He's an outlet to dysfunction. That's why he has stuff like Beastie's back. And you know, I used to watch him. I'm guilty of that. I'm not gonna sit here in front. I used to love watching Tommy shit. Back in 2015, mid 2016, like I want to say end of summer of 2016, used to watch him hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And that's how I know that he's an outlet to dysfunction, because my head was so fucked up during that time period. Yup. Oh, and I'll make sure before this video ends, I'm gonna use my own beats so YouTube doesn't try to do that copyright bullshit. Because, you know, I had to find so many loopholes and loop certain instrumentals, and that still doesn't pan out because, you know, there may be a song and whatnot that I want to use in reference to a video because it correlates well. Is what it is though. I got plenty of things in the vault I'll release out. Besides, it's not like this. See, and that's the thing. I'm not gonna just narrow myself down to just being a YouTuber, because number one, you don't make much money off of YouTube. It requires you to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views consistently to actually make money off that. Number two, YouTube is becoming nothing more than some Marxist bullshit. But then again, I mean, it makes sense. The CEO of it is a Russian white Jew. And we already know the history of Russia has with communism. And Jews have with communism, seeing that Karl Marx himself was that. And Vladimir Lenin, let's not forget that. Everything just correlates. we talk about freedom of speech, but that don't mean shit. They wipe their ass with freedom of speech the same way that CIA agent did in Harold and Kumar. That's what motherfuckers do with your freedom of speech, your First Amendment, even though he did the Fifth Amendment. Because they were pleading the Fifth, those Jewish guys in Harold and Kumar. And then he bribed them. But anyways, it ain't about making no reference to movies. You get the point I'm making. That's what they do. They don't value that. They don't really value the rights to bear arms. That's where all that gun control bullshit is coming from. And I'm here, born and raised in Chicago, and we have strict gun control laws. But we see how all these domestic terrorists, they just shoot up babies, and they shoot up the Tayshaun Lees of the world. They shoot up little babies and grandmas, no regard. These domestic terrorists got no type of powerful male figures. All they got is a bunch of dysfunctionality. They just got a bunch of thoughts, some ratchet whores who are trying to get dick down by them, and then they continue being a breeding machine for obscenity. Let's just call it what it is. But yeah, YouTube, y'all ain't shit for flagging my video down, but swearing that you appreciate or you value free speech and people to release content out to express themselves artistically, verbally, intellectually, the whole 9 yards. Fuck y'all for that. The so-called black sector of YouTube, fuck y'all for not being consistent in your thought process and just talking about it and not being about it. Fuck y'all for that. See, nobody's willing to make sacrifices. And that's why I'm so pissed off, because I made so many sacrifices. And you know, things have been coming in, things have been panning out, but you know, I'll admit that I am not a very patient person, so I do find myself getting frustrated, but I have been enriched spiritually, and I know that I'm going to be enriched financially because of all the things that I've invested in, and all the time and all the effort and all the hard work that I put in. I just find myself getting so pissed off at myself and my circumstance and the world at large that sometimes that slips my mind, you know? That doesn't cross my mind at times, but I'm gonna leave it at that. So, JewTube, if you decide to flag this video down or whatever fuckboy or fuckgirl did that, then do what you're gonna do, because guess what? It ain't gonna end here. This is only the beginning. This is the genesis for me. YouTube was just a way for me to start, you know, develop a foundation so I can start being a content creator, and I can expand from that. Something much more beautiful, something much greater is gonna come. And YouTube is gonna be obsolete. World Star Hip Hop is gonna be obsolete. Gossip, media takeout, all those outlets to dysfunctionalities like Fuckboy Vlad, it's gonna come to an end. And that's what I'm gonna leave it at. For now, peace out, everybody.